The dragon is dead. Now Bard comes with his people. The elf comes for the gold. But the mountain has only one owner. Hello, and welcome to my channel. In this channel, we read English stories for beginners. The stories are slow and easy. Part 5, The Cold Morning. The long, terrible night finally ended. A cold, gray morning came over the long lake. The sky was pale and smoky. The air smelled of wet ash and burnwood. The people of Lake Town were now refugees. They gathered on the western shore of the lake, far from the wreckage of their homes. They were wet, cold, and hungry. Mothers tried to warm their crying children. Old people shivered under thin blankets. Everyone's face was black with soot and full of tired sadness. In the middle of the crowd stood Bard. He was no longer just an archer or a captain. Overnight, he had become their leader. The people looked to him with hope in their eyes. He was the dragon slayer, the hero. But Bard felt the heavy weight of their need. He had killed the monster, but now he had to save the people. The master of the town was also there, but no one listened to him anymore. He stood with a few rich friends, complaining. "See what the dwarves have done," he shouted. "Thorin Oakenshield woke the dragon. This is his fault. Our beautiful town is gone because of his greed." Many people agreed. They felt angry towards the dwarves far away in the mountain. "They promised us riches," a man yelled, "but they brought us fire and death." The crowd's mood began to change from relief to anger. Bard knew they needed help, not just anger. He climbed onto a large rock so everyone could see and hear him. The crowd became quiet. "My friends," he said, his voice strong and clear. "Yes, we have lost everything. Our homes are ashes. Our food is under the water. The winter winds are coming." He paused, looking at their tired faces. "But we are alive, and we are not without hope." He pointed north toward the lonely mountain. Its tall, dark shape could be seen in the distance. "There lies our hope. In that mountain is a treasure greater than you can imagine. A sea of gold that belonged to the kings of old, to my ancestors, and to the dwarves. Thorin Oakenshield sits on that treasure now. He promised to share it with those who helped him. We helped him. We suffered for him. Now we will go to him. We will ask for what was promised. That gold can buy us food, tools, and wood. It can help us build a new town, a stronger town." Here on the shore, the people listened. A new feeling, a feeling of purpose, began to replace their despair. Bard's plan made sense. "But what if he says no?" shouted a woman from the crowd. "What if the dwarf king keeps all the gold for himself?" Bard's face became stern. "Then we must make him remember his promise and his honor. We are not going as beggars. We are going as people who have paid a great price. And we will not go alone." He then looked towards the forest on the shore, the great forest of Mirkwood. "The Elven King heard of the dragon's death. His messengers came to me this morning. He remembers the old friendship between Lake Town and his people. He is coming with his army. He says he will help us in our need." This news caused a murmur in the crowd. The elves were powerful and wise. With their help, Thorin would have to listen. "So, we will go to the mountain," Bard announced. "We will go with our friends the elves, and we will ask for what is fair. Prepare yourselves. Gather what little you have. We leave soon." The people started to move, busy with new energy. They collected broken barrels for boats. They gathered scraps of cloth for tents. They shared the little food they had saved. Bard stood watching them. He felt the responsibility like a cold stone in his stomach. He had given them hope, but he also knew the stories about dwarves and their love for gold. He knew that Thorin Oakenshield was the grandson of a king who loved treasure too much. Please like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for more easy English stories. Part 6, Journey to the Mountain. The people of Lake Town worked quickly. With the help of the elves from Mirkwood, they built simple rafts and repaired old boats. The Elven King, tall and noble on his great deer, arrived with a strong army. His soldiers brought food, warm clothes, and medicine for the hurt and sick. For the first time in days, children stopped crying and ate a good meal. Bard met with the Elven King. "We thank you for your help," Bard said. The Elven King looked at the mountain in the distance. "I do not do this only for you," he said. "The dragon is dead, and the treasure is free. In that treasure are beautiful white gems, necklaces of starlight. They are mine. They were stolen from my people long ago. I have come to take them back." Bard understood. The elves had their own reason to go to the mountain. But for now, their goals were the same: to make Thorin share the treasure. A large group set out for the lonely mountain. It was a strange parade. In front walked the Elven King's army, silent and graceful in their bright armor. Behind them came the people of Lake Town, men, women, and children, wearing borrowed elven cloaks against the cold. Their faces were tired but determined. Bard walked at the front with them. The journey took several days. The land between the lake and the mountain was empty and brown. A cold wind blew from the north. People slept on the hard ground at night, huddled together for warmth. They talked about the gold, dreaming of a new life. They called their new hope the share of the treasure. Finally, they arrived. They stood in the great valley before the lonely mountain. The mountain looked dark, silent, and very strong. The ruins of the old town of Dale lay at its feet, and there, high above, was the great stone gate, the front gate. It was closed. Bard and the Elven King rode forward. They stopped near the gate. "Thorin Oakenshield," Bard shouted, his voice echoing against the stone. "Come out. We wish to speak with you." For a long time, nothing happened. The mountain was quiet. The people waited nervously. Then they heard a sound. A small, hidden door high on a mountainside opened. It was the secret door that Bilbo had found. A few figures came out and stood on a narrow ledge. It was Thorin, with Balin and Fili and Keely beside him. They looked down at the huge crowd below. "Who are you?" Thorin called. "To come armed to my gate. And why do you trouble the king under the mountain?" Bard stood tall. "You know who I am, Thorin. I am Bard of Lake Town. I am the one who killed the dragon. The people behind me are the people you promised to help. Our town is destroyed. We have nothing. We have come for what you owe us, so we may rebuild our lives." Thorin's face was hard. "The dragon is dead? That is good news," he said. But he did not smile. "You speak of a promise. I remember. I said I would give thanks, and I will. You may take some of the treasure from the dragon's body in the water. There is surely much gold still stuck to his bones. Take that and go. You are welcome to it." The people below murmured in anger. The dragon's body was deep in the cold, muddy lake. Getting gold from it was almost impossible. It was an insult. "That is not what we agreed." Bard shouted, his anger rising. "We did not fight the dragon for scraps from the mud. We fought for our share of the hoard inside the mountain, the hoard that belonged to all the people of this land." Thorin's eyes flashed. "That hoard," he said slowly, "is the treasure of my people. My father and my grandfather worked for it. It is mine by right and by blood. I will not give it away to a crowd of beggars and an elf lord who wants pretty stones." The Elven King spoke then, his voice cold and clear. "Thorin Oakenshield, you sit in a hall of treasure that could feed nations. Your gold is mixed with the blood of my people. I am here for the white gems of Losgalen. Give them to me, and my army will leave you in peace." Thorin laughed, a short, harsh sound. "I will give you nothing. You have no right here. Go away. or you will see the strength of the dwarves of the Iron Hills. I have called my kin. They are coming with an army. If you are here when they arrive, it will mean war." Bard and the Elven King looked at each other. The wind blew coldly through the valley. The hope of the people began to freeze into a new kind of fear. They were homeless in front of a closed mountain, and now a dwarf army was coming. Peace was slipping away. The shadow of war was growing. Part 7. The Arkenstone and the Bargain. Inside the lonely mountain, Thorin was changing. The sickness of a dragon was on him. He walked in the great treasure hall, but he did not see its beauty. He only saw gold, jewels, and the shadow of smog. He was looking for one thing: the Arkenstone, the great white jewel, the heart of the mountain. He wanted it more than anything. It was the symbol of his right to be king, but he could not find it. He became suspicious of everyone, even his own friends. He ordered the dwarves to search for the Arkenstone day and night. He blocked the main gate with a strong wall of stone. The mountain became a dark, gold-filled prison. Bilbo watched all this with a sad heart. He had the Arkenstone. He found it earlier, when Smaug was still alive, and he kept it secret. Now, he saw Thorin's madness. He saw the two armies outside, cold and angry. He saw that war was coming, and his friends would die for gold. He made a difficult decision. He must try to stop the war. That night, while the dwarves were busy, Bilbo put on his magic ring. He became invisible. He took a small rope and the Arkenstone, wrapped in an old cloth. He climbed out of the secret door and down the side of the mountain. His heart was beating fast. He was a hobbit, not a hero, but he knew he had to do this. He went to the camp of the men and elves. The guards did not see him. He went straight to the big tent where Bard and the Elven King were talking. Bilbo took off his ring. He suddenly appeared in front of them. The guards jumped in surprise and pointed their spears at him. "Wait," Bilbo said, holding up his hands. "I am Bilbo Baggins, companion of Thorin. I come in peace. I have something for you." Bard recognized him. "The Hobbit from Lake Town," he said. "Why are you here? Does Thorin send you?" "No," Bilbo said bravely. "Thorin does not send me. He does not know I am here. I come alone. I think this war is stupid and wrong. I want to stop it." He put the cloth bundle on the table and opened it. The Arkenstone shone with its own white light, filling the dark tent with a soft, moonlight glow. Bard and the Elven King stared at it, amazed. "This is the Arkenstone, the heart of the mountain," Bilbo said. "Thorin wants it more than all the other treasure. He is searching for it like a madman. Now you have it, but why give it to us?" Bard asked, confused. "Use it," Bilbo explained. "Tomorrow, show it to Thorin. Tell you have it. Tell him you will give it back to him in exchange for what is fair, for a fair share of the treasure for the people of Lake Town, and for the white gems for the elves. Use it to make a bargain. It is the only thing he wants. Maybe it will make him listen." Bard looked at the hobbit with great respect. "You are very brave, Master Baggins, and very kind, but Thorin will be furious with you. You are risking your friendship and your life." Bilbo nodded sadly. "I know, but my friends are inside that mountain, and they will die in a war for gold, and your people will die too. This," he pointed at the shining stone, "is just a thing. People are more important than things." The Elven King smiled, a rare, true smile. Bilbo put his ring back on and disappeared. He climbed back up the mountain, his heart heavy but calm. He had done what he thought was right. The next morning, Bard and the Elven King rode to the closed gate again. A herald shouted, "Thorin Oakenshield, come out. We have something to show you." Thorin came out, looking angry and tired. "Why do you trouble me again?" he growled. Bard held up the Arkenstone. It shone in the morning sun. "Look, King under the mountain. Do you know this stone?" Thorin's face went white. It turned red with shock and a terrible anger. He could not speak. He recognized it immediately. It was his Arkenstone. How? He finally whispered. Where did you get it? From a friend, Bard said calmly. A friend who wants peace. We will give this jewel back to you. It is yours. But in exchange, you must give us what we asked for. A fair share for the people and the Elven King's gems. Give us that, and the Arkenstone is yours. Thorin looked from the stone to the closed mountain door. He knew there was only one person who could have taken it. He turned his burning eyes to where Bilbo stood nervously with the other dwarves. Bilbo, he roared, his voice full of pain and betrayal. You did this. You are a thief and a traitor. I should throw you from the highest rock. Bilbo, though shaking, stood his ground. I'm not a traitor, Thorin. I gave it away to stop a war. I would give it away 100 times. You're not the dwarf I met in the Shire. The gold has made you blind. Thorin was so angry he could not answer. He turned back to Bard. You have a thief for a friend, he shouted. Keep this stone. I will not bargain with thieves. The war will come, and when it does, that hobbit will be the first to suffer. He stormed back inside, leaving everyone in a tense, terrible silence. The bargain was refused. Bilbo's brave plan had failed, and now the clouds of war were darker than ever. Part 8. The Battle and the Return. A deep silence fell after Thorin's angry words. Then a new sound broke it. A low horn, not from the mountain or the camp, but from the east. It was the sound of Dane Ironfoot's army, Thorin's cousin from the Iron Hills. They arrived with many strong dwarves, ready for war. They stood between the mountain and the camp of men and elves. The situation was now even more dangerous. 3 armies faced each other, all ready to fight. Bilbo's heart sank. It seemed his plan had made things worse. Just as the first angry shouts began, a shadow fell over the valley. The sky grew dark. Everyone looked up. From the north came a cloud, but it was not a cloud of rain. It was a cloud of giant blackbirds, and from behind the mountains, a new and terrible noise echoed, the sound of drums and harsh cries. It was an army, but not of men, elves, or dwarves. Goblins, someone screamed, and wargs. From hidden holes in the mountains, a huge, filthy army of goblins and their giant wolf riders poured into the valley. Their leader was a huge, pale goblin named Balg. They hated everyone, men, elves, and dwarves. They wanted the mountain and all its treasure for themselves. They came to kill everyone. For a moment, everyone forgot their argument. The men, elves, and dwarves saw a common, terrible enemy. Bard shouted to the Elven King and Dane, "We must fight together, or we will all die." They agreed. The battle of the 5 armies had begun. The fighting was fierce and chaotic. Bilbo, on the mountainside, put on his ring. He became invisible, but he could not fight in a great battle. He could only watch in horror as his friends were in danger. He saw Thorin and his companions finally rush out of the mountain gate to join the fight. Thorin's eyes were clear again. The sight of the true enemy had broken the dragon's sickness from his mind. He fought like a true king, shouting to me, my kin." The dwarves rallied around him, but the goblins were too many. They surrounded Thorin and his best friends, Fili and Kili. Bilbo, invisible, tried to help, but he was just a small hobbit. He saw terrible things. He saw the brave brothers, Fili and Kili, fall while defending their uncle. His heart broke. Then help came. First, the great eagles of the Misty Mountains arrived, led by their lord. They flew down from the sky, their claws and beaks terrible weapons against the goblins. The armies below cheered, and then a greater help came. With a roar that shook the ground, Bjorn arrived. He came not as a man, but in his other shape, a gigantic, mighty bear, the greatest of his kind. He was like a storm of fur and fury. He broke through the goblin lines and went straight to where Thorin was fighting. He lifted the goblin leader, Balg, and killed him. With their leader dead, the goblin army lost its courage and began to run. The battle was won, but the victory was sad. Bilbo, tired and hurt, took off his ring. He walked on the bloody field. He found Thorin. The dwarf king was lying under a wall, badly wounded. He had fought bravely to the end. Thorin saw Bilbo and smiled a little. "Farewell, good thief," he said, his voice weak. "I am sorry I was angry with you at the gate. You are a true friend. You are right. Gold is not worth the blood of friends. Go now, back to your home and your books. Your own home is worth more than all the gold in this mountain." They were all sad for Thorin, Fili, and Kili, but they thanked Bilbo for his bravery. When he was well enough to travel, Gandalf came to take him home. The journey back was quiet. They did not hurry. Bilbo saw the same lands he saw before, but they looked different. He was different. Sometimes, when he was smoking his pipe by the fire, he would think of the tall mountains, the singing elves, and his dwarf friends. He was content, but he was also a little bit of an adventurer forever. And the world, as Gandalf said, was a merrier and more wonderful place with him in it.